All right, let's do this. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm Pierre, your host. Welcome to my channel, the channel where we do everything together live in the studio. So I hope you all had a wonderful weekend. I know that I did. Thank you very much for asking. So, like usual, we are going to go over to the computer and we're going to check out what we did last Friday to see what we are going to do today. So let's do that. So basically what we did last Friday was put in a bunch of colors on our plants. So of course we started off with this mauve, then we moved on to some yellow. And we just went around the canvas adding all these incredible colors like blue leaves. What the hell's with that? Who knows? And there also we just went around the canvas to do purple leaves. So that's basically what we did last Friday. Add a ton of colors to bring us to this wild and crazy painting. Even for our standards, this is a pretty weird one, I must admit. But we'll see what it ends up like compared to what we have done in the past, which were kind of well-structured paintings like this one was our previous painting. And this is the first painting we did when we came out of lockdown several months ago now. And as you can see, even though they're very colorful paintings, the structure is pretty conservative compared to what's behind me. And you can see there's a well balance of colors and whatnot, giving us all these awesomely beautiful paintings. Let's admit it, there are many masterpieces that we have done live in this studio. So anyways, I'm going to stop goofing around and we are going to go and get to work right away because it's not going to be that exciting of a day because we have to unfortunately put a second coat on many of these paintings. I know that on the camera you can't really tell, everything looks fine, but when you're standing where I am or step back a little bit and you look at the painting, you can see right through these colors with just one coat. And obviously the yellow might even need 2 extra coats, who knows. I like my colors to be nice and opaque, and I like them to be really vibrant as well. So what we're going to do first, though, to allow everything to have time to dry, it's not as though we were in the middle of summer that when we started up on the left-hand corner, by the time we got to the bottom right-hand corner, we could just go back and keep working non-stop. Unfortunately, like days like today here in southern France, it's kind of a rainy, damp day, and the paints are going to take a lot longer to dry. So what we're going to do, I'm going to start off by painting these 2 last what I call spider plants. I'm not exactly sure what they are. So we're going to paint those first. Hopefully they'll give us time to dry so we can get a second coat on those. And after this, we'll attack right away the yellows, of course, and then we'll put a second coat of these other plants. So what am I going to go for? I have several reds, and I'm not exactly sure which one I'm going to use. I usually go with my cadmium medium, but I do see I have a bunch of other tubes here that I rarely use. And since this is such a wild and crazy painting as is, I figure why not go with something a little different. So this is a cadmium red deep hue. And this one here is, what is this called? Primary red. They have these names, I swear. I'm going to try this red right here. I have no idea. Looks like I've never even used it. Looks more like an aqua red is what I would call it. But let's try it out. So let me find a little palette here. I guess we could use this. It's definitely what I would call aqua red. I don't know why they gave it such a weird name anyways. So we're going to start with that. Already got paint all over my hands. Wonderful. And we are going to find the right kind of paintbrush that we need. And to avoid having marks, paintbrush marks, we're going to try to pick a brush that is kind of relatively soft. And I would say something like this. Very soft, has a nice pointy end, so we can start off thin and work our way on a fatter and fatter, whatever. It's Monday. Don't ask too much of me. So what are we going to do? I'm just going to mix this paint with you guys. I'm going to bring this over here. I do have my camera number 1 right here, which I'll bring closer and lower it. And we can mix these colors together. It's not going to be very complicated. It's not rocket science. It's just basically the red paint out of the tube mixed with water. But when I paint, I need to have my paint to be a very creamy texture. So we're just going to work this for a few seconds just to get it so that it's that nice creamy texture, because it just goes down on the canvas so much nicer. And that's one thing you want. You want the paint and the brush to be harmonious one with the other, just so that everything goes down and you don't have to worry about it. I mean, the whole idea is to have everything, brush, color, motif, everything disappear as you are painting. Disappear in the sense of the Zen meditation, where you just don't have to think and you just can let your mind drift, which is the great pleasure of painting. Now, where it drifts to, that's a whole different story. So that looks very nice, very creamy, and yet at the same time it doesn't run. As you can see right there, it doesn't run very much, and it's nice and opaque, which is what we want. Okay, so I'm going to bring the camera back up. Just bring it up here, and we will start with this top spider plant. I don't know, since all these are out of my imagination, we can call them whatever we like. So let's get to work. So this is a lot darker than what I expected. I'm just going to step back and ask myself, do I want to continue with such a dark color? And yet at the same time, it's a beautiful red. So what to do? Just going to take just a few seconds to think about this. Since I don't really know this red, I like the color. I think it's beautiful. And just out of curiosity, I am going to come over here and I am going to just add on the side a little bit of white to mix in with this red, just to see what happens, see what it gives. Just a little bit right there. And we'll mix this together and make a decision together. There we go. Get a little rag out. And so let's try this out here. I'm going to come back to camera number 1. We'll come back down here again. Take a little look. So here I have the white in the middle of the gold right here. So let's just check this out. Oh, it's going to go right away into some sort of a pink. So that is quite different. So let's come back up to our plant here, that first. I'll zoom in quite a bit. And I'll put this right next to it so that we can compare the two reds. We do have a kind of a pinkish, well, I don't know what you would call it, just a little bit different. Now, what to do? What to do? To be honest, I kind of like this darker red. So I think I am going to stick with what we started with. I think we should go back to this nice dark red, very rich. And continue with that. So I'll just rinse off my paintbrush here. And pick up the original red color that we had. Just add a little bit of water to it. There we go. And I'll come back to camera number 1 and we'll continue painting. There we go. So. Now I don't have to be too fussy about here because there will be a black outline all around this circle. All right, very nice. Let's just get like that and get this last little guy here. Oops. There you go. Not that this really matters, I guess. Like I mentioned, there will be a black outline all the way around, which will be probably 3/4 of an inch thick, wide. So let's pull the camera back. I am going to come back down to this lower, well, spider plant. That's a nice name for it, even though I'm sure it's not quite accurate, but whatever. I'm going to bring out my chair and I'm going to do it like this. Just sit down for a second. And let's continue. There we go. There we go, very nice. Okay, let's get this last little leaf together. There we go. I'm taking my time and making sure that there is no white from the background showing. On some plants it doesn't matter because I know there will be an edge, an outline to them. On these red plants I'm not exactly sure. So just to cover our asses, we are going to just do that. And since I did make a little bit of boo-boo here, I'm going to take a little bit of water and a cloth and just wipe off our little mess here that I made. That's a nice thing about acrylics, that if you catch it right away before it dries, it's very easy to clean up. Okay. Well, see my time like this? There we go. Okay. So, step back. Wow. Wow. What a painting. Even by my standards. Okay. So, I am not going to waste too much time looking and thinking about this painting. I am just basically going to keep working on it as quickly as possible. Okay, so next step, I guess, is a second coat of yellow. This tube is empty. And I got a jar right here. This golden yellow is one of my favorite yellows, so I have quite a bit of yellow laying around left and right in the studio. I am sure I'm not about to run out. There we go. Okay, very good. So let me get my little palette here. I'll put away this as well. Come back to this, and what am I looking for? I'm looking for my knife, my faithful knife, and a little palette, which this will do just fine, I'm sure. Okay, so let's get the hair out of the way, and let's get some paint on the palette. This also I'm going to work to get it to be the right texture. We'll do that together. There will be some beige shadowing. So keeping that in mind, maybe I won't need a third coat of this after all. I keep forgetting sometimes. Plus, as the paint dries, it darkens as well. So also got to keep that in mind. So keep the materials nice and clean before we move on. And it's a good opportunity to get more paint on my hands. And that's unavoidable as well. Okay, so very good. Got that together now. The paintbrush, very important as well. I'm not exactly sure which one I used last Friday. I assume maybe something like this. Is this going to do it? Or did I go for something a little bit fatter to go quicker? Well, I'm going to use this one. And if it's not right, we'll just change it. No big deal. Let's get this, get the brush a little bit wet. And I will move over here so we can get the paint to be the right texture. There we go. And I do have some water right here, which is very practical. I'm so organized. Isn't that incredible? Well, since lockdown, that's all we've done is streaming in the studio. And I think today is my 91st stream. So finally I'm getting organized to have things run relatively smoothly. I do run into problems, like if I'm concentrating, forget to move the camera to follow what I'm doing. And in the summertime, I had the fan on so the paint would dry faster and keep me cool. And then I'd have the fan blowing in the microphone, which was extremely annoying as well. So I learned to be careful about that. And then my third, the most annoying thing in my streams is that the camera sometimes goes out of focus for no reason. And that is the worst because it usually happens when my back is to the camera and I don't notice it. So I have to keep an eye on that. Hopefully I took care of that problem. I noticed the last few streams it hasn't been doing that, so I'll knock on wood and keep my fingers crossed. So all I got to really worry about is make sure the camera is following what I'm painting. Which sometimes when I'm concentrated or thinking about what to do next or what I'm actually doing, I kind of tend to forget. So we're getting, as you can notice, into this nice and creamy texture that I like, yet trying to keep it as opaque as possible. I'll just bring everything to the center. I know I'm going to put this on relatively thick. And might have to wait till tomorrow to do the shadowing. Okay, that looks pretty good. I'll bring the camera back up. And we will, well, we can either tackle that spider plant or the, whatever that is over here. I don't know what to call these plants. Let's go in the upper right hand corner. Let's start off with that guy right there. And then I'll have to sit down for the rest. Okay, very good. Let's try that out. And I guess I'll start right here. Yeah, I am putting it on really thick, but you can still kind of see through it. There's no, even though I did put a coat of white paint, as you noticed before in our recap. But hopefully when I add the beige to it, it won't be as noticeable. Because that is on really thick. I don't know how I could put it on thicker. So let's just go here. There we go. Yeah, just add really very thick coats in certain areas. like right there maybe. This will definitely not be dry till tomorrow. The colors are nice and vibrant. Okay. That is thick, all right. Okay, very good. Once again, on the camera, I must say you can't really tell. Everything looks pretty good, but unfortunately, in reality, and we are paying for reality, the people who are buying these canvases are not buying the film. They're actually buying the canvas. So, and if I recall from last Friday, I need my stool here to be at the right height so I don't have the shakes. So I'll just bring this guy over here. And a little pillow for my little fanny, might as well be comfortable. Okay, that looks pretty good. So I'll take a look at the computer, make sure my brain and the cameras, we are all harmonious and working together. So that looks pretty good, right? Double camera like that. Gives you plenty to look at. And I noticed I made a mess here on Friday. Paint's kind of, must have put my hand in it. No big deal. Okay, so let's get the second coat on. And just like that spider plant, I'm going to put this on nice and thick. And it does cover nicely, I must say. Okay. Because this also will have beige shadowing to it. And maybe even an outline. Who knows? Very good. So it's going on better than what I expected. So that's cool. That's good news. And after this tiny little leaf right here, well, I'll finish this one here, I guess. And then I will put on some music because this is going to take a little while. And my friend Jacek is a great guitar player, just gave me a little tape of music so I wouldn't have any hassles with copyright music. So that was really nice of him. That copyright on YouTube is a real pain in the neck. I mean, I can understand that musicians want to make money from their work, but I think when you have a stream like mine where there's less than 100 people watching, well, the music should be free. You know, if I had 1,000 people or whatever, I would understand. Maybe in that case, pay some copyright rights. But for these small, insignificant streams, it should be free. So I'm going to put on some music and we'll continue as before. This such a beautiful yellow. I just love this golden yellow. Okay, so far so good. I'll just add a little more here. There we go, very nice. Ah shit, I just put my hand in the red paint. Completely forgot about that. Okay, very good. I will put some red on right now where I put my hand in that red paint. Fix that boo-boo. No big deal. There we go. now we just have to get the stems. So start up here. All right, very good. I'll just make a little stop in the music here for a second. There we go, and we'll come back to Jacek's music as we tackle our next plants. So, let's pull this back and step back for a few seconds. Take a look where we are at. And I must say I'm happy with the red that we chose. Very nice. And okay, so I'm going to go for the mauve here, the light purple, and do that next. And it's going to be the second coat, so it'll go rather quickly. Then I'll do the blue and then the purple. I guess there's no going around it. So what color was this again? Jesus, I swear, the names. This is called Caput Mortium Violet. Caput Mortium Violet. What a great name, I swear. Who comes up with these names? Okay, so we're going to put a little bit of that down. And some white. There we go. Make a little room here so I don't make a huge mess. So, my faithful knife again. There we go. Let's get the white paint out here. And there we go here as well. And I think that will be enough because second coats are not really as intense as the first coat. Second coats usually cover very well. So, like usual, keeping the materials nice and clean. Don't want to mix all the paints together in their jars. There we go. And as we did before, oh yes, I have to pick the right brush now. So, I don't remember what I used last time. So I'm just going to pick any one that's relatively wide. I do remember switching back and forth between several brushes. Maybe even this one. I'm not really sure what I used. All I know is that I need it to be a soft brush so we don't see the streak marks of the brush. And I think the same one that I use for the red will be sufficient. So I'm going to use that. And to make sure that I don't blow and mix all these colors together, I am going to pull over my camera number one right over here. And we are going to go onto the double camera mode. As I go back into my little kitchen area, and I'm going to wash my brush with some soap and water. There we go, just to make sure that the red doesn't bleed into the purple. Just take a few seconds. There we go. It's already clean, already. There we go. Very good. Okay, so I can pull you back here, I guess, and even get you ready for the next shot, which will go up there. Okay, very good. Oh no, that's what am I doing? No, that's not what we want to do. What we want to do is work the paint together. That's what we want to do. So we'll just come over here and we'll blend this together, and I'll get on full screen for this. There we go. So a little bit of water, and like usual, we're going to just blend everything to get the right texture. I'm going to blend everything here in this corner first. And I'm actually going to move the purple over to the edge here. There we go. I don't want this second coat to be too dark, so. So we'll just work it to get that nice creamy texture. There, it's pretty thick right there, way too thick, but that's no big deal. Once it's blended, I'll just add a little water to break it down to the right consistency. Okay, let's do that right now. Again, this is one of these colors that as it dries, it will get darker. So that's another good reason not to make it too dark when I'm blending both colors together. So that's looking nice as well. Just still, I think, a little too thick. It is the second coat after all. So let's just add a little more water to it. Let's just blend all this nicely together. There we go. Very good. Okay, I'm going to just add one more big drop of water in there still. We do have a lot of surface to cover, and then we'll put in the details afterwards. So it doesn't just look like flat one color. Okay, that looks pretty nice. I think I can go with that. And probably as the paint evaporates, there we go. Okay. As the paint evaporates, we can add more water to it. So let's go back way to the top and start up there. And we'll work our way down a little bit. There, something like that. Okay, so I'll put the music back on, get Jacek's music back on, maybe before we go. There we go. And I'm sure on the camera this just looks like the same color, and you can't tell what the difference of what I'm doing except that it looks wet. But believe me, it will look the same, but I won't see through it, which is what I can do right now. I can see the background, and we don't want that. I don't have to be that difficult either on the edges because there will be an outline again, as I mentioned earlier. What we want to do is just get rid of what we can see through that first coat. There, very nice. As you can see, it goes relatively quickly. There. we go, very nice. And now we can go back to this last one over here. All right, very good. Definitely looks better with that second coat on. I'm sure on the camera you can't really tell, but you'll have to trust me on that one. So, just take a few seconds. I'll stop the, well, I guess not, but I'm going to step back for a second. Get rid of this little guy here. Take a look and see where we're at. Okay, sorry, Jacek, I'm going to just stop your music for a few seconds here. And I am going to tackle now these blue leaves. And then we'll do the purple ones and then see where we're at, if we can do anything more today. But I doubt it. Everything looks extremely wet. So that blue was basically just cobalt blue, one of my favorite blues as well, and white paint. So we're going to do that right now. I'm going to get these palettes out of the way, make some room. And we'll use this, that way, the palette we had on Friday. Yep. I have quite a bit to say about this painting, but I'm not going to do that right now. Just the style of painting it's not really what I've been doing for the last few years. I've kind of on this particular painting regressed to the days where I used to make street posters. I used to paint on paper with a group of painters in the 1990s called Zen Copyright in Paris. And we used to paint on paper and then take a whole bunch of roll of papers, let's say after a couple of weeks of painting, and we'd invest a certain area of the city of Paris, and we would just glue all our posters all over the place. So, and I actually stopped painting on canvas for over 5 years, just dedicating myself to this kind of street art. And the style of painting back in those days, I mean, I guess I am talking about it. I wasn't going to, but back in those days, the whole idea of making these posters was, first of all, to put a little bit of color in the grayness of the city, and also a way of making some sort of publicity for ourselves. And the idea at the beginning was quantity. Crank out as many posters as you could. I would work like on series of like 6 paintings, 6 posters in a row, and then just kind of crank them out. Actually, I'm going to come over here to the computer for a second, and I will actually show you a little bit what I was talking about. These are posters that I did like in the 1990s, and these have the address of the gallery of the squart that we were in. The squart means artistic squat, and that is where that's where I worked with most of my friends back in those days. And we would crank out all these posters, as you can see, and so the whole point at first was quantity, and then through the years, of course, the posters became more and more sophisticated. The ones you are seeing right now are my early ones, the one I did in the first 2 years. And then little by little, as you will notice in a few seconds, the posters were little more sophisticated, like this one. I mean, here we have or this one. The point here was, and also these posters are a lot larger. The earlier ones were relative. Well, here, this gives you an idea of the size of the posters. And again, these were all on paper to be glued in the street on what we would call our action collage, our gluing actions. And this is basically what it gave. It gave like a whole bunch of posters that we just put on the wall. Right here is the Zen copyright. And here I am with some friends, my friend Pedro, and we were just gluing posters like this in Paris and Amsterdam, New York, Berlin, and of course it did attract the police. I mean, you know, a bunch of artists showing their work that always brings in the cops, doesn't it? So anyways, that's so my style of painting and coming to maturity as an artist happened in those days, because I was working like 6 days a week and just cranking out these things nonstop. I mean, this is all I did was paint 8 hours a day, 6 days a week, and you can, come up with quite a lot of artwork doing that. So my style of painting was painting very quickly. And I kind of always kept that because I am impatient, and I like moving quickly. I like putting on music and even techno music, which will even speed you even more. And of course, we used to drink a lot back in those days, get high all the time. So we would always be like kind of motivated to paint. So anyways, after all that, I am going to make my cobalt blue and we will tackle these leaves. So, and I think on this second coat, I might try to make this just slightly lighter, if possible. Not too much. I had started with this leaf, which was a lot darker. I painted over it. But still, if I could get this to be just a whisker lighter, I think I would be happier. So we're going to try to find that right hue right now. Again, where is my faithful little knife? Where are you, my... didn't I put you away? Oh, no, I left you right here. Okay. Oh, yes, I started talking. I forgot to clean the material. Okay, there we go. I definitely don't want to get colors in my white because I use the white a lot with a lot of different colors. So, okay, let's try this. And I don't have that much of a surface, believe it or not. So I don't have to make too much paint. There we go. Put you aside here. And to get back to what I was saying about these posters, is that when I started this painting, I was kind of burnt out on painting. And instead of stop painting for a while and then just like thinking and meditating to figure out what I was going to paint next, I kind of fell back like I did when I did posters on just doing what I know best and then just making a variation of it. So that's how this painting came about. I have no idea what I'm going to paint here, and I have no idea what I'm going to do. I had no idea. I'm just winging this painting. That the other paintings I've done that I showed you earlier were paintings that I saw in my mind before I actually attacked the paintings. And even though I didn't always have the idea of what I'm going to paint, at least I have some idea of what kind of colors, combinations I want to use. So I have a pretty good idea. I have somewhere at least to go and to build on. That on this painting, I just winged it from the beginning. And I have absolutely no idea if it's going to be a catastrophe, one of these paintings that you want to bury, or not. We'll figure that out next week, probably when we finish it, or maybe at the end of this week, who knows. Okay, enough blabbing away. Let's get back into the painting. So I'm going to go back with this brush here. I think it's going to be just right. And I'm going to switch back to camera number 1 where we can blend this in together. There you go. Let me just bring this down. And actually, I'm going to even move it over a little bit so I can get closer to the water right here. There we go. And let's just bring in a little bit of blue. Again, I want to keep it kind of light, but I don't want it to be light blue either. So we're going to have to just work our way little by little, getting it darker and darker. I mean, it does make a beautiful light blue, but that's not what we are looking for. So instead of putting the blue into the white, maybe I should have put little by little the white into the blue. But that's my fault for talking so much rather than thinking of what I'm doing. But no big deal. Let's just bring in some more blue here. Probably bring all of it in here because I can see it's extremely light. And that is not what I wanted. So I'll go back to the blue area here. Let's go back over where it's a little bit darker here. And even that is going to be a little too light for me. I'll blend it in. And we'll add more blue if need be. It is a nice blue, I must say, but it's too light for me. I don't want a baby blue. I wanted really a cobalt, a lighter cobalt, but still fairly dark. So, see, this is what we had the other day. The first coat is this blue, and this is what we have now, and this is what I started off with. So way too light, much darker, but still compared to what we did on Friday, it's way too light. So I'm going to just go back to the other camera, and I am going to add more blue. I kind of screwed up, but what the hell. I did things backwards. But it's no big deal, just going to just cost a little more in paint. We'll just jack up the price of the painting, right, to make up for it. Okay, so let's try this. I put a lot there. Like there were a little bit of flexibility. And I'm going to come back to the other camera where we can blend this in together. There we go. Now we're getting to that darker blue that I was looking for. Let me just blend this all in here. There's a lot of different blues on this little palette. And I'm going to use my brush to move a lot of this stuff away. We won't be using all this. Let me just, unfortunately, that will be wasted. And let's get back to this blue right here, which is way too thick for a second coat at least. So we'll just blend this in, get that nice creamy texture that I keep mentioning about. And to be honest, I'm still not sure if that's going to be. So let's just spread this out a little bit on the palette and we'll compare it to the leaves that we have on the painting. So I'll just bring this up. Let's go up here, I guess. And I'll zoom in onto one of these leaves here. And this is the blue that we just mixed in. So, as you can see, it is slightly lighter, and that is kind of what I was looking for. Okay, very good. So, I'll pull this back, even though it's way too thick. I am going to just blend in a little more water. I guess we should do this together. We found the right color, but the texture isn't correct. It's way too thick, and I am not going to have the control over it because of the thickness. So let's just bring in some water. And like I said, we have way too much paint here. But at the prices materials cost, you really you don't want to waste anything. So that's getting there. I think we could use just one more big fat drop of water. There we go. And I'll just blend that in right here. Just churn this over and over. Yes, that looks nice. Looks like there I'll have total control over this paint. Okay, very good. So, let's bring up our camera. Go back up to our leaves. I will tackle this leaf last. I'm going to work my way down. So I'll just zoom in a little bit. Since this time the color is a little different, you might be able to see it better. See that second coat on better. So Let's tackle this here. And again, this is just the background as well. I mean, I am definitely going to add some lighter blue to this, but that will be as a shadow. So this is just the background, basically. I hope I'm not standing in front of the camera. You pay attention to that. I'll turn around. No, I guess not. Very good. I lucked out on that one. So let's continue. There we go. And as before, I'm going to cover the white from our first coat, just in case I decide not to put an outline. Usually I leave a little bit of white. Doesn't matter if I'm going to put like a black outline around whatever I'm painting. But when I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to be doing, I might as well give myself that extra option of leaving it the way it is. I'm sure you can't see it on the camera, but we are covering a lot of these paintbrush and that you could see through from my first coat. Hence why we're putting the second coat on. There we go. I will go back and put some music on again. Very nice, very good. I'm just going to step back for a few seconds, take a look from what I've been doing. Okay, it is just a little bit lighter, which is fine, especially if you take in consideration what I said earlier, that paint darkens as it dries. Go. Just one more. There we go. Good. We'll tackle these last leaves down here. And I'll get my chair for that. Let's mix in a little bit of water. There we go. Okay, let's get this last one done. Okay, I'll bring the music down for a few seconds. There we go. Thank you, Jacek, for the music. And we are going to do these purple leaves now. And then I can tell when I was checking the red here, and that's, even though not completely dry, Jesus, I just, what a mess. I'm still going to put a second coat on top of these. You know, it's not quite dry, but I don't want to waste time tomorrow putting another second coat on. So we'll just bull and jam and do that today. So what did I do here? Where is my cap? Okay, the whole place is such a friggin' mess. Let's put that away. Ah, here it is. Black on black. No wonder why I couldn't see it. There we go. Let's put this away. Let's put this away as well. There we go. Make some room. Much better. Okay, purple haze. So, get the purple out. And we will get some white paint as well. So this also is a tricky color. So I'm going to have to be careful with this. I don't want it too dark and I don't want it too light. So we are going to have to find that happy middle ground. And I am going to have to get more rags. If anybody's into abstract art, I will stretch this on the canvas for you, and you can have this really cheap. I also do abstract art, so just get in touch with me and we'll see what we can do. And I have a lot of these too, believe me. Okay, so got the purple. Let's go for the white now. Oops, there we go. That's what I needed. Little purple with the rest of the colors on my hand. Very nice. Oops. And I got a bunch of paint in my hair. Just washed it also. Then again, you say, why don't you tie it? I don't know. I guess I should. Okay, here as well, we don't have that much surface to cover, really. And I think I did put way too much paint. And that's okay too. We'll just add another 0 to the painting. Okay. Put that there. And get the right brush again. Well, I guess we're using the same brush. Very good. Just rinse it off. We'll switch over to camera number 1. And we'll blend this in together. Right? I'll pull the camera back maybe a little bit first. And there we go. So this is what we're going for. This is what we're going for, more or less. This is the darker the white. So I don't remember what covers the most. Let's just do it like this. Yeah, that's what I thought. The white paint overwhelms the purple very easily. So we'll just work on the edge here. I think we have plenty of white paint. Let's just bring in some more purple in here. I'll turn the palette around. Yes, this is what we want, a darker purple. Mauve would be the right color, I would guess, the name. So let me just take a look. Okay, we do want it even more dark. Let's say darker. So here, let's just work this and see what we come up with. It's getting much better. Just add a little bit of water here. It does take a while for the real color to come through, though. The white is very overbearing. So I'm going to even bring in some more purple. And blend everything in. There, now it's getting very dark, which is kind of what we want. Even though it's way too thick, but that doesn't matter. What we want first is get the right color, and then we'll just add water to bring it to the nice texture that we want. So I'm just going to compare it to the purple that we have on the painting right here. And it is a little lighter. Now I know what you're going to say. You're going to say it gets darker as it dries. So like before, I'm going to just put a little bit on top. And that's not too bad. So I just put a little bit right there. And so it is a little bit lighter. I am thinking, I'm looking at it as I'm thinking about, you know what, we have a little bit of, I'll come back down here. We do have a little bit of purple here in this corner. I'm going to just use it all up. Just use it all up or add a little bit more just to bring it a little bit darker. And that is like a, I don't know if you can tell on the camera, but that is a beautiful purple right here. Just a lovely, lovely hue here. So that's perfect, except for the thickness, way too thick. Won't be able to control it, so we are just going to add more water and work it so it's the texture that we enjoy. Let's maybe one more drop. There we go. That looks very nice. I'm sure I won't have any problem with this. So I would have to get my chair out, but first I think maybe instead of getting my chair right away, let's just tackle that upper right hand corner. Those leaves up there because I feel like standing up still. I'll just zoom in a little more. There we go. And this will just take a few more minutes, not very long. Let's just put the double cameras on. Is that right? Yep. Okay. So as I put this paint on, it is covering everything basically just the same color as what was on the canvas. So I can only assume that when it dries, it will be slightly darker, which is no big deal, because when we put the highlights, it will change completely anyways. This is just, again, just the background of our leaves, of our psychedelic jungle. There we go, very nice. So enjoyable to do. Very nice. Okay, cool. Okay, I'll bring the camera back and I'll move it over so we can get these lower leaves right down here, right in that corner. And as not to break my back, I will pull up my chair and we will tackle these guys. We should go fairly quickly with the paint texture that it is. And as with the blue leaves, I am going to cover the white of our first initial coat. Be careful not to put my hands in the yellow. Now, the way I've been painting the last few years, I would work wet on wet. I would use a whole bunch of shading and different colors mixed in. But since I started these paintings, like I said, with the mentality of making my posters, I am going to stick with that method, which means solid background colors. And to be honest, when the paintings are done, I'm not even sure people can tell the difference in the style of my painting or not. Maybe it's just in my mind. Maybe the end result looks the same. Never really thought about it, to be honest with you. To be honest, I couldn't even remember when I started this painting. I couldn't remember the painting I had just finished like the previous week. I'm just cranking these guys out, almost like when I was doing my posters. So, but I'm not complaining because this is what I love doing. So we are basically done. We said we would put some more red, another coat of red paint before signing off. I'm going to just have a little swig of water. Ah, very nice. Okay. Okay. So what were we saying? Red. Here's the red that we used earlier. The paintbrush is still here. And if I recall, we used primary magenta. It's written in like 12 languages, so you got to find the right one. Primary magenta. I think it's more like aqua red, but what do I know? So, we again don't have that much of a surface. I am going to add a little more because I do want to put it on nice and thick. There we go. And like usual, we're going to go over to camera number 1. Let me pull this baby back a little bit. There we go. Just so we can do the blending in together. So I'll come over here, bring this guy down. And this is not rocket science, it's just water and paint straight out of the tube. Can't make it any easier. Again, worth taking the time to getting that right texture to have the control over the paint. I'm just going to blend it in like that. It's going to need a little more water. There we go. You want this paint to just glide on the canvas and keep its opacity intact as well. So that looks like it's going to do it. Looks pretty good right there. We don't have that many leaves to do. So again, I'm going to start off with the one where I'm standing up. Let's just zoom in on that baby. So those weird marks that you can see, like right here, these are all due to the light shining from the window that's over there on the wet paint. It's not a different color, it's just the reflection of the light. So let's get this second coat on. Wow. Now if I thought that first coat looked beautiful, this second coat is really beautiful. Oof. This is definitely going to be a color that's going to come back in my paintings. Maybe in the next one, actually. Very nice. There you go. Just want to bring it in nicely here. I mean, I do paint very quickly, very fast, but that doesn't mean I want to be sloppy either. No, no. Okay, very nice. Now I think nice and shiny. Can't really tell with that angle. Let's tackle this guy here. I'm going to have to pull my chair back out though. And there we go. I'll go again to the double cameras. There we go. Maybe I'll start here. Yes, that is a beautiful red, I must say. The red for the dread. Okay, one more leaf. We can step back and see what kind of trouble we got into today. How are we going to get out of it? I don't want too much. I don't want to go on this border too much because I was thinking maybe of making this border yellow, so I don't want the red to show through. Oh, fuck, I'm screwing this all up. Let's just get a little bit of saliva here. Okay. Okay, let's see where we're at. Pull the cameras back. Take a wide angle look at this. We're basically where we were today when we started, except that we have second coats instead of one coat. Jesus, I have a feeling I put a lot of paint on my face as well. You'll have to excuse me, I'm going to use the camera as a mirror. Okay, sorry about that. Just, I don't have much choice, right? If I feel like I got paint on my face, definitely want to go home on the tramway, as it has happened in the past, really. So, most people in the studios on the other flights tell me if I have paint on my face, because I already yelled at them, telling them, remind me, tell me if I have paint on my face, I don't go home this way. But the problem is that today there's nobody in the building, so that's why I have to rely on you and the camera. So anyways, let's get my face out of the way here and take a look at this painting. Well, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to think. I don't know what to say. Okay. Well, I won't say anything until it's finished, but hopefully we'll finish this quickly. Oh boy. Okay, so let's take another different angle. Zoom in a little bit this way. Wow. Okay. I don't know what else to say except wow. Okay, so this is going to bring us to the conclusion of today's program. Well, just about 2 hours. It felt like only a half an hour. So time flies when you're having fun. And I know I was. I want to thank you all for, sorry, I thought I had some red paint on my face. Okay. Anyways, I want to thank you all for joining me. Like usual, I'm going to leave you with my schedule. Tomorrow is Tuesday, so we start an hour later. Instead of 9 a.m., it will be 10 a.m. And we will continue by putting details on these plans and maybe actually putting, I don't know, we'll take it from there. It's going to be on a day-to-day basis. We're going to see how far we can get, and we'll decide then what we'll do the next day. So, once again, thank you for joining me. It was awesome having you here, and I'm going to leave you with my schedule, and I'm going to say, ciao, mes amis.